I'm Michelle, and I want to talk to you a little bit about the type of therapy that I do. You're going to see on this website there's a lot about immersion therapy, but I want to get into a couple of different areas that I specialize in that will help you in changing your life. So I get a lot of questions about, do I work with children? Absolutely. I love children. In fact, they're one of my favorite areas to work with. And here's the reason why. Children do not have all the pre-programming that adults have. If you think about it, an adult has years and years of programming, people telling them they're not good enough, going through trauma, going through so much. But children, they usually have one little thing that has gotten them off whack. I'm going to show you an example of someone that I worked with. I worked with this young girl. Her name is Addison, and beautiful child. And she's like, does a lot of like cheering and gymnastics. And one day she just wasn't able to do it. I worked with her for 3 sessions. 3 sessions, that's all it took. And all of those problems were gone. A lot of times with children, there's like one little event that happens. Sometimes you don't have a clue as to what it is. Sometimes they don't even know. And through the type of work that I do, I'm able to get to that problem very quickly and solve the problem. And it's over. So I'm going to show you a little screenshot that one of my clients just recently sent me about Addison. Now, as you see, this is a very fast result, and typically with children that's the case. I've also worked with a child who had eating problems. Just for whatever reason, he didn't like the way something felt in his mouth, and in a short 4 sessions, all of that was resolved. The next one I want to talk about is habits. I work with people who have habits that have caused them a lot of problems or pain. So for an example, Trichotillomania, that's hair pulling. I've worked with many people, many over the years who pull their hair to the point to where they have bald spots. I've worked with children who have trichotillomania, and I've worked with adults, and the results are really good. Some of the other issues when it comes to habits are common things like weight loss, exercise, smoking, any kind of habit that people are trying to resolve. And when it comes to habits, that is something that we absolutely have to do a consultation to kind of get some more information about how long this habit's been going on and what kind of therapy we need to do. Sometimes those habits are associated with bigger issues. Another question that I get from people is, do you work with fears or phobias? Yes. So one of the things that I've done with this one client who was fearful of flying, and it didn't take very long. It only took like 4 sessions to be able to get that fear completely gone. In fact, he was able to recover from this so quickly that he was so excited about flying that he decided to take a course and become a pilot. Okay, so let's talk about immersion therapy. What is this? Okay, immersion therapy is where we actually dive into the way your brain thinks. We spend about 6 to 8 weeks trying to do this thing called discovery. In discovery, we're determining how your mind thinks, where these problems come from, some of the trauma that you had in the past. These are things that you probably would not be able to just, I know what my problem is, and, just tell me right off the bat. A lot of times it's buried deep inside of you and you're unaware of it. So during this process, we're literally almost like doing an MRI for the brain and figuring out exactly what are those core issues. After we do that, Then the next step is to spend several months on hypnosis using what we discovered and going directly to the core issue. After that, basically what we have done is we've discovered, we've reprogrammed. The next step after that is to start implementing new skills. See, the problem is that a lot of people don't recognize is that we tend to try to solve the problem with the same mindset that created it. And you can't do that. So now you don't have these skills. You might have been reprogrammed to behave differently or to look at this differently, but now what you need is skills to be able to handle things differently. So we go into a phase where you're learning how to handle things because life is rough. You're going to be approached with situations that you only know how to handle the way you did before, and that didn't work out so well. So we go into this, and then the next phase after that is empowerment. Then we get into learning how to empower yourself through spiritual practices. No, I do not try to influence people in a certain spiritual way. What I do is I use your own personal belief structure to help empower you. Now, this can go into some esoteric or spiritual concepts that are new to you if you choose. Things like learning how to manifest, how to draw energy, or how to clear energy in your direction. However, I do not teach these things unless a person requests it. The biggest thing that we need to understand in this particular phase is to understand the divine and how the divine works through you. Now, I have asked somebody, ask me, what if you're atheist? Well, if you are atheist, this part still works because what you're doing is I will tap into the energies around you and look at this from a scientific perspective. And believe it or not, you can do that. And you can understand how to utilize the energies around you or how to shift the energies around you based on science. So regardless of what your belief system is, I work with that in helping you get empowered. And this is probably one of the most important phases, is to get empowered. During this empowerment phase, a lot of times I will request you to take action on something so you can understand how it feels to start taking action in a direction that you were too fearful to do. Now that you have reprogrammed your mind, learned some new skills, and you're feeling empowered because you start taking action on something. I've had people write books. I've had people take photography classes. I've had people set up businesses. I've had so many different things happen. I had a woman who took action on something that I kept on telling her, this is the direction you need to go. Let's do it. Let's do it. She finally did it, and she became a multi-millionaire. So when it comes to these kind of things, this empowerment section is super important because not until you do something will you feel that empowerment. Okay, so I've had people ask me, what makes you different than all the other coaches out there or therapists out there? And the main thing is that I am a very skilled empath. And this is the key point in working with me that makes me different than other people. Many empaths are struggling with their ability, but I've mastered my ability to where I can tap into you and feel what is actually going on. On top of that, I have a very unique skill of being able to empathically get into the subconscious mind. So a lot of times, like when I'm working with the hypnosis, I will go into your energy and feel in the subconscious mind where we need to go. A lot of times I'll tell my clients, well, we go wherever I see that we need to go. Because what I do is I close my eyes and I go with you. and I guide you through this process as to what I see that needs to be done. It's a very unique skill. Also, when I'm coaching people, I'm feeling what is actually happening, and I'm looking around inside of this energy around you and helping you resolve that because I can actually feel it. So this is the difference between just a normal person who took a course and a person that has a lot of spiritual development that can help you resolve these problems. Okay, so then we get into life coaching and spiritual life coaching. Two different things. Life coaching is where I am teaching you life skills, helping you change the way you think about something, and teaching you techniques and tools to be able to manage your life. As far as spiritual life coaching, a little bit different. I'm actually teaching you spiritual techniques to develop within your spirit sensation. This is something that a lot of people have a lot of questions about and a lot of people are very interested in. When it comes to spiritual teaching, again, we have to make sure that it's in alignment with the direction that you want to go. It's all about energy and the connection with the divine. So if you're interested in kind of learning a little bit about that, that is something that we would need to set up a consultation. Remember, all of our consultations are free. And if it's something that you really want to pursue and you want to learn, then set up a consultation. We'll kind of figure out if it's a right match for you and see if that's the direction that you want to go. Last but not least, part of the reason why I do the consultations is because it's so important that you and I are able to make a connection. When we're working on issues like trauma or any kind of very interpersonal issues, reprogramming your brain, getting rid of negativity, a lot of painful things that you have gone through in your life. When it comes to those kind of things, the relationship that you have with the person that you're working with is so important. If you can't make that connection with me, then I'm not the right person. And that's okay. You can find somebody that you make that kind of connection with, that you feel more comfortable with. It's important that you do that. And, watching these videos, some people say, oh my God, I felt that connection immediately. And some people, they actually have to get me on a call and experience my energy so they can find out if they feel that connection in relationship to who they are. Okay? So it's important that you and I make that connection, that we both feel a really good connection between the two of us so that we can move forward. Otherwise, it's very difficult to work with somebody that you don't feel connected with. So I hope that I answer some of these questions. And if you have more questions, please set up an appointment. These consultations are free, and it's a perfect way for you to be able to find out if I can help you. If I haven't answered your questions through this video, and there is another issue that you're working through that I didn't address, please set up a consultation with me. Let's find out if it's something that's within the wheelhouse of what I do. And if it's not, maybe I can refer you to somebody. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in that consultation.